Hey, um, back in midseason, before your injury, were you playing some of the best that you played as a pro?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say so. I mean, I feel like it kind of just, in terms of just trying to figure out the best way to play basketball to help impact winning, I think so, and I think for this team, and I think having a couple of years of experience here and with our guys, and just kind of knowing the positions to be in and how to help them be better. I do feel like just in terms of understanding the game and kind of trying to get the best options we can on both ends, I feel like I'm doing that better than I have before. So I feel like in that manner, it's yeah, I mean, definitely kind of like the clearest and yeah, knowing what we're trying to get to and just trying to do that every time.
Luke, how much do you feel like? Oh,
Sorry. No, go ahead.
how much do you feel like you guys walked away dodging one yesterday? I mean, just down 10 seconds to go, their ball, you come out with a win.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely great to be able to come out with that win. Yeah, obviously it was a pretty rough situation that you don't really expect to win 9 times out of 10, but to be able to get that one and to be able to just keep making plays. I mean, I feel like we had opportunities to kind of, take care of the game a little bit better as the game went on. And so I think we're going to look to do that and try to find the ways we can do that so we don't have to put ourselves in that kind of situation where, yeah, you're just like 1 or 2 plays going a certain way from losing the game. But we're definitely glad to be able to make those plays, and I feel like it was just a testament to, guys continue to play hard, trying to make plays, and JB obviously hit an incredible shot. But even in that, I feel like there's so many times where you're playing basketball and playing games where you kind of have some sort of awesome little turn of events there, and then you come out in overtime and come out flat. So I feel like the ability for us to be able to kind of, just play great basketball in the overtime stretch was really important, because I feel like I've definitely seen a lot of times where a team can kind of have that kind of little miraculous shot and then come out flat. You're down like 4 or 5 in the first minute, and then you never really kind of find your groove. So we definitely did things to be able to win the game, but at the same time, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you kind of need to catch some breaks or like really make some incredible plays to be able to come out with a win.
Luke, when you're playing more traditional drop coverage, the goal is typically to kind of lure a team into taking those mid-range shots. It's a shot that they're very, very comfortable taking and they hit a ton of. What kind of challenge does that present for you when you're dropping to protect the rim, but also be mindful of that giving them shots that they actually like to take?
Yeah, I feel like frankly, I don't feel like in the drop coverage we were particularly hurt in that way in that game. I feel like they do a great job of fighting for great shots and fighting for like the shots that they want to take and just kind of keeping the ball moving until those shots reveal themselves. I feel like I can definitely do a better job with how I was playing in coverage and just in like my positioning. And yeah, I think it's a testament to them in terms of like they really work for great shots, and especially like early in the clock, they kind of know what shots they're gonna be willing to take, and like as it goes on, like getting everyone to their advantages and just kind of playing to their strengths in all facets and just having so many opportunities at it and just keeping the ball moving. So a lot of it is just kind of being able to just endure possessions and know kind of what shots are. I like the layups and like just wide open catch and shoots are definitely like, there's obviously like just like a tiered system in terms of like what kind of shots you want to get, and they generally do a great job of kind of like working along that path until they get a great one. So you're gonna have to kind of live with some of that, but then also trying to find ways to make those ones more difficult, or seeing like what you can kind of do to be able to influence those.
Obviously, their pace creates challenges in terms of communicating and staying connected defensively. How do you think you guys did on those fronts?
I feel like we did a good job competing through it. I feel like there's a lot of times where, they just do a great job of like, you can play one action and like, all right, they might mess up a little, or you do a great job guarding it. And so they just try to get like 10 of those in on a possession where just try to loosen it up a little by little by little until it like leads to an open drive or leads to a guy getting to like his strong hand and stuff like that. So, I think they're going to be difficult to kind of play against no matter what. They're, I don't know, were they the best offensive team in the league this year? So there's going to be difficulties in terms of guarding them where you're not going to be able to just take everything away. They've got a lot of skilled players, but I think there's definitely some feeling out and knowing that they're going to be really persistent about trying to get to those best shots. And yeah, it is definitely a different kind of even just style of play. I feel like that it's nice to kind of have game one to just adjust to a little bit and to know exactly what it's going to look like and feel like and kind of like acclimate yourself to that, which is kind of what happens through a series. And then the battle to just kind of maintain and hold your ability to play according to your like identity and being able to get those shots is kind of what the game turns into. So I mean, I feel like we played hard through it, but there's definitely just like part of just like realizing what it's going to look like and getting more adjusted to it and really trying to like lock into like certain details of it is, I think we have a lot to grow in and we should get better throughout the series.
They like to get in and then like nash the ball out or just do anything to kind of invert the way that they're cutting. When you're the low man, how difficult is it to decide when you want to like commit to stopping ball, knowing that there could be somebody cutting behind you you don't even see coming?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of like a big part of how they're playing anyways. You're like having to just make a ton of little reads and little decisions as it goes by in terms of how dangerous of a position the ball's in and having respect to like who you're guarding and knowing who that is because it might have just switched twice already in the position. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of like myself watching where I realize like overhelping in situations where guys were fine or just being able to communicate with guys clearly is just really important. And I feel like something I'm glad that we've done throughout the season was we put ourselves in a lot of different positions of how we're guarding and give ourselves a lot of like optionality to just kind of like make reads on the fly and not have to have like a very set like thing of rules because I feel like especially for this series and for this team that's really important just in terms of allowing everyone to like make decisions and kind of like have the confidence of just knowing based on who's in the action, who's like who has the ball and exactly what that level of like advantage or disadvantage is in terms of determining how much you can help or not. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to look like a different way of possession, but it's definitely like you're having to acclimate that versus like how it looks against some teams with a lot more of a dominant like single score and just kind of making reads off of that. So, yeah, it's going to work sometimes and not going to work other times, but just trying to like fine tune that as much as we can is going to be important.
Apparently there were Celtics fans who were leaving the game early last night and didn't get a chance to watch the end. Any response to Celtics fans who decide to leave the game early?
Speaking for myself and for my family, I know that the 8 o'clock start time can be a little late and kids wake up at about the same time. So you understand it's a lot of, everyone's making sacrifices to be there. So, that's a part of it, but I think it's a great thing it was looking like a tough situation, but then that's basketball where it can just take one or two plays and be able to sneak out the win. So I hope they were able to get their kids to school early and are able to be in a better emotional and mental state to really like hit the day running because sometimes you can be in a rough spot like the next 2-3 days if you're tired, the kids are tired. It's it can be a tough situation. So it's kind of like the being able to make the reads of how much help do I give or how much do I not. You're always kind of in that position. So, yeah.
We really should end there, but two more questions. Noah and Taylor.
Sorry, that was funny. So just zooming out a little bit, for you, this is your first postseason run that you've actually gotten these types of extended minutes. What has that experience been like, just like from an emotional standpoint of just knowing you're on one of the final four teams in the NBA and you're playing a really big part on in the playoff run on the court?
Yeah, it's there's like a little bit of a chance of like possibly having to come in if people were hurt in years past, but I feel like in terms of actually being like a part of it and a part of like the sort of expected rotation is. Before I was able to just kind of enjoy the ride and really have a lot of fun with it, and now I feel like you just get to experience kind of like just like the pressure of, all right, you want to be, you're used to it throughout the regular season of wanting to be prepared for any kind of game and mentally and physically, but I feel like definitely wanting like every little inch of more preparation and more just being ready. It is just a level of a level of stress that kind of just increases, but honestly, the opportunity to be able to go out and play basketball against like some of the best players in the world and like the highest stakes, it's a really fun thing to just be a part of and just kind of like get lost in it and give like a full-hearted effort. So I'm definitely like appreciative of being in this place. And I mean, it's kind of what you play basketball for, is to be able to like challenge yourself to the highest level and see if you can overcome it. So, yeah, it's been great to actually be like a part of the playing, and obviously it's just hoping to come into game 2 and get another win. And yeah, just kind of the joy is just to be able to play itself. It's not kind of really about like any of the other stuff. So I think just trying to keep your mind on that and knowing you can just kind of play as hard as you can and try to do it the best that you can, and then like be satisfied with that result and hold yourself accountable to that.
Luke, with Drew and Derek making all defense, just how would you describe the defensive dynamic they created back there, and just the tone that they set for you guys all season?
Yeah, I mean, they obviously do an awesome job. Like, there's some games where just the ability of one of them to kind of pick up full court or make some plays in disadvantaged like situations, I feel like it does just like set the tone for everyone else defensively when you're seeing how hard they're having to work just to kind of get it into place to operate, or just yeah, I mean, being able to watch like throughout the course of a game, like the more they get to play against the guy and read him and like feel it out and be able to play that game, it's like pretty invigorating for the team. And I mean, it's such a great help when you're two, kind of guards who are traditionally the smallest guys on the floor, making like incredible plays and help. Whether it's like, I feel like Drew has some steals that are just unbelievable, or coming backside grabbing rebounds, or obviously Derek with his like from behind blocks and stuff like that. When you have guys who are really making plays on that side of the ball, it can make them really tough to guard, because even when teams are kind of in a good situation, they're just making it a little bit harder, all of a sudden making an incredible like play. And so I feel like it definitely sets the tone for us, and obviously they're well earned in terms of that. And it's obviously a great test with Indiana in terms of their guard play and their ability to just move and speed. And we're confident playing with those two guys at the front of it. And we wouldn't be close to where we are without them and the impact that they have on that side of the ball.